Nowadays, stories in video games have gotten pretty complicated, but they don't have to be. This is Hollowknight Silksong explained stupid. Let's begin. So, Hornet is kidnapped because weavers struggle to have kids, and the god of weavers wants a kid. She's saved by an adopted child with mommy issues, falling into a grotto where she decides she actually wants to meet God anyway. Yes, just like the Far Cry series, this whole game wouldn't have happened if you just didn't break free at the start. To reach Act 2, we have to not only ascend, but also ring 5 bells along the way. This state-of-the-art security system exists mainly to show you that Farloom is doomed, as the bugs fail to make even a somewhat practical door. Along the way, you can fuse yourself with the remnants and silk of other questionably dead weavers to gain more power. Think like an Namekian from Dragon Ball Z. The stronger personality wins and gets a nice little boost. And in our case, Hornet is very much the strongest. Now, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but one thing I found really interesting is, aside from the occasional mass hanging, all of the settlements on the way to the Citadel are actually doing pretty well for themselves. It really took away from my oppressive dystopia to see so many people just happy with where they were. But still, the Citadel demands your attention, so eventually you will reach it. And when you do, you learn that the bugs have invented exploitive capitalism. Kinda. Everyone trades for these rosaries, which are supposedly a sign of faith. But while people trade them constantly, how many rosaries you have is completely unrelated to ascending higher on the economic scale. They only really get you basic necessities, like a bench to sit on. No matter how hard you work, you'll never get beyond the lower levels of the Citadel. You'll only see the top if you're chosen. And if you are chosen, they do not, in fact, give you a better life. They actually do a Mad Frankenstein, take the blood of the children style procedure on you, turning you into silk. Then they use that silk to power big robots and fuel their eternal youth. They drain your life, weave you into a divine bundle of yarn, and use your sentient fabric to power big religious Roombas. It's a perfect metaphor for faith-based capitalism, though the part where the people at the top are literal soulless husks feels a little, on the nose. But hey, at least they're consistent. Anyway, proving once again that advanced civilizations can't create a normal goddamn lock, you learn that to reach God, you'll have to learn how to play a specific song. Note that this song itself isn't special, it just functions as the world's most esoteric key. So now it's time for an epic adventure through the Citadel, where each piece of this 3-part melody comes from a specific cast member. The important ones, not the poor ones. No one cares about them. You get one from the smiths, one from the audiobook keepers, and one from the conductors. How these are the important members may seem kind of strange, aside from the smiths who literally build everything in the Citadel, but the conductors handle the silk infusion surgeries that grant eternal-ish life. The record keepers keep records. For all 3 of these, despite their seemingly eternal life, they're weirdly prone to dying, and the city is somehow fine with letting history just fade away. The Memoriam is basically a zoo meant to remember biomes that existed. Except these biomes still exist, so someone's not doing a great job. Anyway, you collect the melody pieces, play the song, and an elevator comes down, letting you finally meet the great monarch. But first, at the top of the elevator, you meet Madame Mommy Issues herself, who wants to fight you again so she isn't replaced. After beating her, you learn she's artificial, a life made out of pure silk. Hornet gives her Pokemon tier life advice about how the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant, which makes her quit, because moral lessons are apparently super effective against existential dread. With that, we can finally confront Silk. You also find labeled cages showing that every other attempt to make a part weaver into Silk's surrogate daughter failed. Too weak, too old, or too crippled. Upon beating Silk, you try to bind her like you've done all the rest before. Except this time, your will doesn't seem to be stronger. Hornet loses herself to the power, explodes with a massive amount of silk, and the system continues. But now you're at the center of it. Whether you lost yourself because Silk's will was stronger or because you speedran getting corrupted by power is up for debate. There's evidence both ways. Hornet even mentions that her Hollow Nest heritage on her father's side gives her an urge to dominate, and she might not resist such power if she took it. And that's how it all ends, unless you go for the true ending. So how do you get it? By role-playing as a really ineffective genie and granting people's wishes. That's the fancy name for side quests. Do enough, and some robed bugs who look important tell you there's another way to deal with Silk, a trap that could end the cycle for good. So once again, you collect the 3 artifacts of power, beat the boss like normal, and instead of absorbing her, you play her some music, because clearly all world-ending rituals are sound-based now. It works for about 5 seconds. Then Silk grabs you, trying to drag you in, but you're saved by Lace, who's gone from don't replace me to banish my mom to eternal nothingness. Their relationship is complicated. They fall into a wormhole and seemingly all is good. Except the trap also summons the Abyss. Basically, the universe's delete button. Think lighting your house on fire to kill a spider. It works, but you're not getting that deposit back. Massive earthquakes begin ripping apart everything, as Silk is trying to not get eaten by the void because she loves her fake daughter too much to die if it means her daughter dies with her. Real wholesome stuff. The snail shamans, the people who tricked us into summoning the Abyss, show up and say, "Our bad, bro, didn't think the world would actually end." Hornet tells them that they can care slightly more, and so they decide they will. They teach her a memory song that lets her channel strong souls. Why? Because only a special flower can resist the Abyss, and that flower doesn't exist anymore. So naturally, in order to get one, she'll just remember it really hard and recreate it from her soul. Yeah, sure, why not? Point is, it's boss rush time. Kill 3 fallen kings. Killing a 4th is optional, unless you're an overachiever with moral issues. Then, upon completing your boss rush, the snails sacrifice themselves, Hornet gets her special flower, and now she can dive into the Abyss to save Lace so her mom will finally die. You fight corrupted Lace, again, Silk watches you beat her ass, again, and then sacrifices herself so you can both escape. Except you don't. As Hornet is flying out of the Abyss, holding on to Lace, she begins to falter, but your buddy from the first game, the one who basically became the Abyss, shows up and saves you both. It's fan service and lore, so everyone wins. After that, the bugs rebuild, presumably. No Grand Monarch, no Silk Empire, just survivors. Seeing as the Citadel was already dead, I'm not sure what breaking the cycle even did. But hey, one less god, a few cool boss fights, and a moral about something. See ya.